Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. I'm Brandon, back with Jesse and Garrett here. We're on to episode 48. Guys, how are we doing this morning?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. That's good. Garrett, you had a big weekend, didn't you?
It was a big weekend, yeah.
Closed on your first house.
I did.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
How many things you break moving in?
I
TVs? Any of them?
don't think I broke anything.
Nice.
Definitely not a TV.
Nice, man. Good job.
Thank you.
I feel like that was a shot.
No,
felt
not
like
at
a
all,
shot.
man. Not at all.
Definitely felt like a shot.
Sometimes things happen when you move.
Oh.
I wanted to hear.
Sometimes you break TVs. I'm just saying. Sometimes it had it coming.
No, Amy, we're not setting those with the movers. They'll break them.
Damn it.
Damn it.
Yeah, so that's cool. But you're in your house.
I love it.
And then Jesse skipped work Monday. That was cool.
I did. You can still hear it. I'm still a little sick, just getting over it. But back today.
Yeah.
Did you miss me?
Not even a little bit.
I know you
It's
did.
the greatest day
I
ever.
did.
Ouch. Thanks, Garrett. Thank you.
It was definitely a hectic Monday. We were missing Jesse, so a little crazy, kind of getting back in the swing of things today. How you feeling?
I'm doing all right, man. Yeah, they put me on some meds. Like, I'm going to survive. I'm good.
You sound weird. Are you okay?
Good.
Some people heard it yesterday. Some people got to talk to me at home. So,
Yeah.
Little
You're still
rougher.
here right now.
a little rougher shape yesterday. Yeah, I'll be all right. We'll be good by next week.
Good. By the next episode.
Yeah, by next episode, we should
There
be
we go.
already set.
Perfect. But today you're stuck listening to him.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
I'll try to make sure he doesn't talk much.
You're pretty good at that anyway.
True. But it was a pretty good weekend for everybody, I think.
What'd you do?
State hockey tournament. We had state hockey tournament this weekend.
You
of
played
course.
in the state hockey tournament?
Yeah, I played in this. No, I didn't.
You
play
could,
this-
though. You're the same size as those
I'm shorter
kids.
than all of them, actually. But Caden had his season-ending hockey games, and
Oh, sad.
yeah, we had our tournament. It was pretty fun. Did great. Kid played the best game of his season.
Really?
So, yeah, of course, the last game of the year. He plays
Like, no
the best.
chirping the coach, no nothing.
No
Just
chirping the
went out and
coach. Went
played?
out and just head down, skated the whole entire game. It was awesome. Played great.
Like, why didn't you do that all year?
That's what I said. I literally got in the truck. I was like, dude, I'm so proud of you. And by the way, you had 14 games you could have done that in.
I didn't want to, Dad. This
Yeah.
seemed like the best time to showcase my talent.
You figured you better do it in the last game of the year so Dad signs him up again next year. I was pretty proud of him. And then we went for that, like I said, the state hockey tournament, and I got cookie dough at
Yeah.
the Excel Energy Center.
I was kind of curious to hear about this.
It's terrible.
What?
I was so mad.
So bad you ate it all?
No, I didn't finish it at all.
Oh, it was really bad.
It was really bad.
Was-
Probably only
good.
like $15, right?
It was like $94 for one of them,
Yeah. Right.
And
sold one of the kids.
yeah, I got
dough.
like a round for everybody. It's like, it's kind of like shots, but it's cookie doughs instead.
right.
It was me and
Way
all the
better?
Yeah, me and all the hockey dads were there, and I'm like, hey, who wants cookie dough? Anybody? Everybody's hand went up. I'm like, all right, cookie dough for everybody. And I went and bought cookie dough. All of us were like, yeah, we should have skipped on the cookie dough.
You should have did to them what you did to me, right? Like, get them in line and be like, yeah, I changed my mind, guys. Go
No,
ahead.
it was so rich.
Really?
Oh my God, it was the worst. Like, you couldn't even eat it. It was just like
Too much.
It was too much. It was just really disappointing.
Jeez. I
Real letdown.
Never thought I'd hear that day.
Yeah, I was really, really upset about that. So
You're a big cookie dough
I'm
fan.
a huge cookie dough fan. Real letdown. I've had a lot of cookie dough in my life. Worst one by far.
Wow. Did you hear that XL Energy Center? Up your game.
Yeah,
Up
they
your
need
cookie
to.
dough game.
They need to up their game. Maybe I just got a bad one.
Maybe.
Times 6. But
Times 6.
yeah, it was not good.
Was it all the same flavor?
No, mine was chocolate chip. Somebody else, one of the other kids, I bought one of the other kids that was with my son. I bought him a monster cookie one.
Okay.
And then my son got the sugar cookie one. And then a couple of the other dads got the same chocolate chip one that I got. But no.
No dice.
Not even the
wasn't
kids
good.
liked it?
All right.
Yeah, kids always like
Yeah,
it.
kids
They'll
love
eat
it.
everything. The kids ate everything.
There's 8 times the sugar.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Great. I'll take 3.
Yeah,
Please.
I'll take 57 of those, please.
Right.
And then I'm not going to sleep.
So now you'll have some free time, right? Hockey's over.
No,
Or we
race
go right
season.
into race season?
Race season, yeah. We start race season next week, and lacrosse started yesterday.
Is there even a bye week for you?
No,
No.
lacrosse started yesterday. We finished our hockey season on
You're
Sunday.
the day.
And then Monday we had lacrosse.
Oh, sweet.
So, and then hockey camp starts in 2 weeks.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so nope. We're
So, like, in order to hang out with you at all, like, I got to get on your schedule 2 years in advance
yeah,
now.
it's a 2-year advance waiting notice.
Sweet.
But yeah, so we're ready to go. Like I said, next season. It's kind of nice outside today, though.
Yeah, it is.
Really warm.
It's supposedly tomorrow it's going to be really warm, right?
Really warm
Summertime?
tomorrow. Yeah, like summertime tomorrow.
55, 60?
Oh, shorts are
Shorts
out
for sure.
Can we wear shorts tomorrow in celebration?
No, you can't.
I'll try.
Dude, you hear yourself? You should wear a snowsuit. You still sound like you got a cold.
That's a myth. Shorts don't make you sick.
I think it's gonna.
But yes, I'll wear pants.
It was like 40 something on Saturday, and I was outside in shorts. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, it's amazing how 40 feels amazing in Minnesota. 40 in Yuma, Arizona, and I'm in like in a parka,
Right.
super cold.
Up here, you got people in
Yeah.
swimsuits like
Yeah.
trying to fill the pool at 40.
Yeah, no, I was outside suntanning. But yeah, so today's episode, we're going to talk about vacuum hold down.
Hey, it sucks.
It does suck. You stole my joke. I'm really sad
You
about
set me
that.
up. Thank you.
Yeah, you're really sad about that. But yeah, no, definitely.
Really sad.
Vacuum
gonna be in
hold
trouble
down,
the rest
though,
of
it
the
does
day.
suck. No, it's a good topic, I think, because, a lot of people ask questions about this topic.
It's really important too, right?
Well, you can't cut what you can't hold down, right?
Right.
So we might as well start talking about vacuum today. And obviously vacuum is the most popular and convenient way to, hold most applications. It doesn't work for all. I mean, right, Jesse?
Right.
It's definitely not a one size fits all.
No, it's not.
But, when you start thinking about vacuum hold down, being professionals in the industry, I guess, I would ask you, what comes to mind when people start talking vacuum hold down?
Oh, let's hear this one, Garrett.
Small parts.
Small parts.
Small parts. That's a good one.
So many things I could say. Continue. Jesse,
Oh,
what
how much
comes
does
to mind?
follow that up after you
Yeah,
say that?
how
I
do
can
you
say
follow up
many
small
things.
parts?
Nice vacuum. Here.
What do you think about vacuum hold down? Time savings.
Yeah.
That's what I think of. Time savings.
Yeah. No, that's kind of what I think of as well, is it's a convenience factor.
Yeah, for sure.
It's way more convenient to use vacuum than it is to try to figure everything else out.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah. And the importance of this topic is because, really your cut quality, your edge finishes, your, performance, speed, all of that stuff is really dependent on the part staying secure.
That's very true, Brandon.
Because if you get vibration, if you get movement, all of that's going to result in something else happening, whether it's a bad part, a poor finish on it, frustration, whatever that might be.
Right. It goes hand in hand.
And there's some added cost that goes along with, when your parts are moving around, right? You
Right.
gotta reshoot. You gotta reshoot. You gotta recut everything that you're doing.
We're painting today.
Yeah, we're painting. Reshoot that. No, but yeah, it's one of those things where you gotta think about, the amount of time that you'll spend fixing parts if they're moving around on you.
Correct.
Or
Yeah, that
just-
can be a big waste of time, right?
Yeah, or a waste of material in general. You might just throw them away.
Correct.
So, when you start thinking about it, there's a lot to think about with vacuum. There's a lot of ways that this can and can't work, or with really material hold down in general.
For sure. Like you nailed it. There's so many different ways you can go here.
Yeah, and how you choose to secure your material will matter when it comes to time spent setting up and ultimately the time spent on the project. So, when you look at what hold down options really exist, right? I think, obviously the obvious one that we're talking about right now is vacuum hold down or vacuum fixtures, right?
Right.
But then what's that?
Clampers.
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 Clampers. Yeah, you got clamps. That's a good one. Clamps and fixtures.
I'm going to use that. So you want clampers on this
Yeah, I'm
order?
going to start calling them clampers as well.
Put a clamp on it, Strebeck.
Yeah, you interested in the clamper option? But then you also have just the old school mechanical, screws, nails, hardware, things like that.
Drill it, pound it, tap it, nail it.
Yes. Then you got tape and glue,
Yeah, that's popular too.
which I know sounds funny. A lot of people laugh right now, oh, tape and glue, but they really,
Like what? Glue?
Yeah, you can use 3M double-sided tape on a lot of projects. And it works really slick.
Right, and it's super glue?
And then you can use super glue on tape, like on frog tape.
Yeah.
You super glue. Obviously you have physical resistance or pressure. That's where guys will use clamps on the side rather than above. So as an example, we were just recently, Garrett, I think you're posting the video potentially. No, I think you did it yesterday, didn't you?
It hasn't gotten up yet, but it's
Okay.
It will.
So we got a video coming up. I know that is going to be showing this, but basically we planed a slab. Well, the slab's not flat, obviously, so vacuum doesn't work. And you can't put the clamps over the top of it, or when you're planing it, you're going to run into clamps. So we use pressure fit. And that's where you obviously build kind of a fixture using your clamps, or some people will use scrap wood and screw it to the table. But basically you're keeping the slab from sliding left to right, front to back, but you're not so much worried about lift, because like in a slab situation, the weight's there. You don't need to necessarily hold it down as much as keep it secure from sliding.
Right.
And so that's where you can get into physical resistance or physical restraint. And then my favorite is just hopes and dreams.
What happens when you use hopes and dreams?
A lot of things bad. Hopes and dreams are my favorite. I love watching hopes and dreams.
Yeah, I've seen some of those videos.
Yeah,
of hopes
we've
and
seen
dreams.
lots of people with hopes and dreams, and it never works.
Yeah. This is what happens when you use hopes and dreams, and then
Yeah.
you see a guy's shop that needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah, there's parts everywhere, and
Yeah.
it's shrapnel, and you're lucky you're not missing a limb.
Right.
It's a little sketchy. So, yeah, hopes and dreams doesn't work. Let's go with one of the other options.
Better be quick if you're using hopes and dreams.
Yeah. Yeah, you better be fast.
Yep.
If you can dodge what do they say?
Wrench,
If you dodge a
you
wrench.
can dodge a sheet of Baltic birch.
That's the
Something
same.
like that, isn't it?
Something like that. That's what I thought. But yeah, what's the number one rule of hold down?
If you can't hold it, you can't cut it.
No, there's no rules to hold down.
Oh.
Number one rule. Just do whatever
I like
you can
that
to
one.
hold the material. One time I kind of to go hand in hand with that, no rules to hold down.
Oh, boy.
My dad and I were at a guy's shop, and we walked into his shop, and we were talking with him, and he's like, yeah, we're going to cut this. I want to show you what we're doing. And he starts running his machine, and I see him grab a step stool, and he climbs up on the table as it's cutting. The machine's moving, and he's up on top of it. And I'm like, what? And he's standing on his material, holding his material down.
What?
And then as the gantry starts coming towards him, he steps over the gantry. And so he literally knows the routine of his machine and just steps over the gantry all the time.
my God.
And I'm thinking it just takes one random movement and this guy's going down, you know?
Yeah.
And he's got the emergency stop button in his hand. Like, if something goes bad, we're going to hit this.
We're going to
you know?
hit this in
Like,
time.
and, back then machines were not as fast as they are today. You could never get away with that. And I don't recommend this, for the record. Like,
Do not do
liability,
this.
do not do this, ever. But I saw this. And like I said, I was just like, what are you doing? You know? And obviously we were there to install another machine. And yeah, but machines were a lot slower, so he had a little bit more time. But I'll tell you what, the guy was pretty nimble. He was able to hop over that gantry pretty fast.
I can't
impressive.
imagine. Can you imagine getting hit by an IS gantry on a
No.
rapid movement?
Oh my God, you'd be needless.
Just ass over tea kettle. You're right on your head.
Yeah, no, that'd be bad. But I really saw this, and I'm like, that's when it dawned on me, like, there's no rules in hold down. Like,
There's no rules at all in this guy's shop.
yeah, do what you got to do, I guess, right?
Stand on it.
Like, man, I guess OSHA doesn't come in this guy's shop too often. But yeah, I actually saw that one time, and it just flabbergasted me. Like, wow, like,
Wow.
you are
hoping for a neck injury.
Yeah, good luck. I don't know, man. It was
I'm not brave enough for that.
Yeah,
I'm going to
no,
tell you that right now. There's no way.
I kind of want to try it now.
I
Can we
don't
go
want
do it later?
no,
You've already had a boot. You don't need a
yeah,
neck
you hurt
brace.
yourself trying to stand on snow.
Yeah, you're right. No, it wasn't snow.
I don't need you to hurt yourself.
Why do you have a halo on, Garrett?
Softball.
I broke my neck.
Oh, that's what it was. Softball. You
Yeah.
couldn't go in the snow because you couldn't snowboard.
Exactly.
That's right.
Sucked.
Softball. Yeah, he just tried sliding into home base and hurt himself.
Yeah, stand on top of this machine. Let's see how this works out.
Yeah. He fell coming out of the dugout. Everybody's picturing Garrett making this awesome
Let me
slide.
get those
and breaking
seeds,
it.
guys.
Yeah,
Snap.
yeah, exactly. He slipped on some seeds in the dugout.
2 months and we're back.
2 months and we're back.
I think you
Yeah.
should retire.
you should retire.
Softball league starts up.
You
in 2
can't
months.
afford to now. You have a house.
That's all right.
You have house things to do. You have
all
to
right.
cut your grass now. You can't go to
To wear your
softball.
boot under a bridge.
I don't have to cut my grass, luckily.
Oh, you're an
This
associate.
is one
Yeah.
of those fancy places.
He's
where
in a
they cut
do
it
you have a
for-
gated community? Are you in a gated community, Garrett?
Might as well be.
He's in a gated community. First house. He's already in a gated
You
community.
could call me Mr.
Jeez.
Bombardo. I don't have to shovel my own driveway. Someone comes and does it for me.
I still have to shovel mine, remember?
I let it melt.
Oh,
so.
you must be talking about my dad. Yeah, and then you got
Mr. Bombardo.
yeah, and then you got Jesse over there who's just like, yeah, it'll melt in
Let it
6
melt.
months.
It'll melt.
Let it melt.
His driveway looks like a volcano.
It does.
Barely get the Kia 150 up the driveway.
Oh, sometimes we park in the
Oh no, I made a huge mistake. I'm in the front yard.
Bree, get the Tahoe. I need you to pull me in the driveway.
But yeah, so talking about vacuum hold down today, let's talk about, like I said, we named a bunch of ways you can hold material down, but specifically vacuum hold down is today's topic, so we'll go through that method. But, really, what does vacuum hold down do? A lot of people believe that vacuum is actually sucking the material down and like holding it down by pulling on the material,
Right.
but it's not right.
Right.
Like what vacuum's doing is it's actually removing the pressure from below the material and therefore increasing the atmospheric pressure above the material, which creates hold down.
Correct.
So you're not actually like sucking on the material, like holding it down. You're actually sucking all the pressure underneath the material away.
Right. Everybody thinks vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
It's where everybody goes.
Yep.
It sucks. It pulls everything up. So
Yep.
everyone thinks it's the same on a machine.
Yeah,
Very
no.
different.
Very different. Yep. And, so vacuum really has two things that go into it. You have CFM and then you have HG.
Yep.
And, one is the amount of air that you can remove, and the other is the amount of force that's produced in a small area.
Both are important.
Both very important.
Yeah, they work hand in hand together.
Yeah, but they do have some slight differences. One thing is, HG is how much holding power exists. The more HG you have, the better forces that you have.
Right, the more pressure being applied.
Correct. And then the CFM is how much leakage can you afford, essentially. How much air are you moving, right? And both matter. Generally, CFM is required for high leakage situations.
Right.
Porous materials, warped materials, things like that.
Yep.
And when I say warped materials, that doesn't mean like any warpage. That means like really, really warped materials. So like,
Right.
Obviously a lot of materials have warpage to them, and you can overcome it with less CFM still. But it's when you get into these situations where the material's so warped that like you're leaking air like crazy.
Right. We got a good bow in this sheet, right?
Yeah. And one thing you can do to overcome that is flip the sheet over so the bow is in the middle, not on, not the other way. You want the corners touching. So that way you're creating a pocket and it can suck down and remove that air.
Right.
And then basically create a sheet.
Vacuum situation.
Yeah, that sheet will then pull flat. Or in some cases you'll push down on your hand to help assist it to get flat, and then it will get a hold of it.
Climb up there and stand on it.
Or stand
We've
on
learned
it
that.
and jump over your gantry.
Yep.
That's real common, I've
Just
heard.
stand on
Do you
it
think
till
you
it
could
sucks
even get
down.
up on that gantry, or maybe not? You need a
Did
ladder.
you not hear me when I said the step stool? I
Yeah,
can
you-
definitely do it with a step stool.
Yeah, you would need a ladder for sure.
Yeah.
He's saying you're short, sir.
Yeah.
You got it. Thanks. Perfect. Glad you're helping out here this morning. God.
Hurting, not helping.
Oh, man. But, again, both matter. CFM, like I said, is for high leakage situations. HG is typically going to be for your smaller parts.
Yep.
More HG means the smaller the parts you can hold down.
Correct.
So if you have giant parts, you don't need as much HG generally.
That makes a lot of sense.
The easiest way to think about it is, okay, regardless of how much HG you're producing, right? The larger your part, the more surface area you're covering with that pressure, right?
True.
So you can take the pressure times the surface area, and essentially you can figure out how much holding force you have across that surface.
Yeah, it's mathematics.
Yep. But the smaller that surface area is, naturally, the less you're going to be able to generate.
Correct.
So having higher HG gives you a better multiplier.
It does. Much better hold down.
Yeah, better hold down. So, as you start looking at that, that's something to think about. Both are required. Let's be honest. You have to have CFM and you have to have HG.
Yeah, they work together.
Yep. But generally speaking, high CFM pumps
Yep.
are usually low HG rating.
It's very true. Yeah, they're going to have a lower HG rating.
And then high HG pumps usually are lower CFM.
Very true.
And the most popular one that comes to mind is Becker. The
Yeah,
Becker
right.
vacuum pumps are #1 pump in the world.
They're awesome.
And yeah, they produce extremely high pressure. When you get into their VTLF series, when you start dealing with the vane root style pumps, they're very, very high pressure. But as you get into regenerative blowers now, those are low HG but high CFM.
Right. Much higher CFM.
Yeah, and there are companies out there that do use, Becker regenerative blowers instead of the vane root pumps, and they're selling on the name, but you get less performance because you're not getting the same as if you went with the bread and butter product that Becker makes.
Yep.
So you got to be careful of that. There are companies out there that will sell you a name brand versus a solution.
Oh, we hear it all the time. What are you running?
Yeah.
A Becker.
Yep.
Do you like it? It's really loud.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. You probably got the wrong Becker.
You got the wrong Becker.
Yeah, and that's when you got to start. And that doesn't mean you're always got the wrong Becker. I mean, there are situations where that might fit your application, but on most CNC applications, you're not using those Beckers. I mean, the Becker has the VTLF series for CNC application.
Correct. Someone sold you the wrong pump.
Yep. And so as you start looking at it, the one thing to think about too is, CFM will stack. So two Beckers, the VTLF, let's just use an example, the VTLF 2.250.
Yeah.
Okay? It's an 8.9 horsepower vane root style pump.
Yep.
It produces like 170 CFM roughly.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's 24 inches of vacuum pressure.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Well, considering atmospheric pressure is 29,
Yeah.
it's pretty dang good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. But the issue is now, okay, say you need more CFM, right?
Yep.
You're dealing with a lot of leakage or you're dealing with a really warped material, right? Buy a second Becker pump, right?
Correct.
You put them together.
Stack them.
And what that does is you take your CFM times 2 essentially. And that's
takes your what, 170 times that by 2?
Yeah, exactly. So you take your 170 times 2, and that's where you end up with your CFM number. Okay? But your HG number does not stack.
No.
You had 24 before, you still have 24 even with 2 pumps.
Yep.
3 pumps, 4 pumps, 5 pumps. It doesn't matter. You're going to always remain at 24. Your pressure doesn't change.
Could you imagine 48 inches of HG?
Yeah, no, it'd be crazy.
That'd be too much.
But the reality is, you'll never get there. It doesn't happen.
Can't.
So as you start looking at this, HG doesn't stack, but pressure will stack. So you got to be careful when you start buying pumps. I've seen companies out there that sell these regenerative blowers, and they sell you an 8.9 regenerative blower. Well, they only produce 5 or 6 HG.
Ooh.
Yeah, but yet they're producing, call it 200 and something CFM.
Right.
Then they put 2 of those pumps on there.
Yep.
People are like, I'm good now.
I got 10 HG.
Yeah, no, you don't. You still only have 5 HG, which is extremely low.
Very low.
Like,
You're going to struggle.
yeah, you're going to struggle. But yeah, you have a ton of CFM.
Yep, you do.
Not going to really help you. You all right over there, Garrett?
Someone driving a dirt bike out in the shop, or what is that?
Nope, that's a nail driver.
Oh,
It does sound like dirt bike now that you say that, though.
It
It
did.
did.
And it doesn't help that we're in this closet and it's happening right outside the closet. So
kind of echoey too.
We should bring our pillows from home for
no,
the next
Yes.
one. We'll put them up against the wall, like
Oh,
create
I
some
was
kind of
thinking-
sound barrier.
I was thinking lay on them.
Nah.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of thought.
yeah, I was saying Garrett went straight to nap.
I'll bring my mattress in too.
Oh my god. All right, well I'm glad you're okay now. I saw you perking up like you got excited there. So, but yeah. Anyways, back to the CFM and HG talk.
Absolutely.
What
do you got?
on with the Borophyll. But when we talk about altitude, also that will affect your HG.
Oh,
So-
that's very true. Something we talk about regularly.
Yeah. So people that are at higher elevations,
Yep.
you need to think about that because for roughly every 1,000 feet you go up, you lose 1 HG.
Yeah, Utah is a popular spot for that conversation, right?
Yep. Colorado.
Yep, for sure.
Yep. And so you need to think about that. If you start with a Becker VTLF, right? You're at 24 inches of vacuum pressure, and you go up to 6,000 square feet. 6,000 square feet? 6,000. Not
I
square
don't
feet.
think that's how it works.
No, that's how
all
it
right.
works. No,
That's
I
all
think we got that
He's
wrong.
got a big cave.
Oh, he's got a big, giant cave. No, you go up to 6,000 feet elevation.
Yeah,
You're going to take off 6 CFM.
you are.
No, 6 HG.
6 HG.
This is not
you got
my-
me. You got me.
Why
I'm sitting
did
here looking-
math, the numbers? This is not going well.
No.
Nobody listen to me. I'm going to leave.
You lose 6 HG.
6 HG.
Not
I like
6,
how
yeah.
I like how he just agreed with me though.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't listening to a word I said. He just was agreeing with me.
I'm staring right at you. as
Staring
we're
right at me. And he's
talking.
like, yes.
Yeah,
I'm like, no,
it
that's
sounded
wrong.
right.
I said that wrong.
At least you caught it.
I caught it at least.
I was coming.
Yeah,
behind
no,
you
yeah,
quick.
I'm sure you were.
So how many GHs do you lose per
You got
square
GH
foot?
of the H's. No, so you end up at 1 HG loss for every 1,000 square feet, and
Not square feet. Feet.
God dang it, this is out of control. Moving on.
I can't even breathe.
You're gonna lose HG when you add elevation. Okay, let's get to that point. Jeez. Okay, moving on. That was really, really difficult.
It was.
Very difficult.
That vein in your forehead is
I
pounding.
know, I was
you
like,
want to hit
I
Garrett
can't-
with something.
That's
I
a
can't
vein
think.
style pump right there.
It's a vein style.
I can't do this
I'm
anymore.
done. I
I
just
just
laughed
can't
over.
do this anymore. I gotta find some new partners for this show. I just gotta find somebody
Sir,
else.
no one will listen to you without us.
True. This is true. But we're gonna try.
Oh, my God.
But yeah. So again, when you do look at most pump ratings too, they are gonna be at sea level. So just remember that. Based on the numbers you see on a pump, always assume it's off of sea level.
Right.
And so if you're not sea level, if you're above sea level, you got to do some calculation.
You do.
Or you call your CNC guy and he helps you do the calculation.
Right, right. There's also, depending on what size table you're looking at, we have other options, right? We can go higher in HG.
Yep.
We do have a couple solutions there.
Yep. And remember, the world isn't perfect.
It's not.
So don't work off of perfect world numbers.
Right.
Because that's probably going to let you down.
Every time.
Yep. Every time. But yeah, we can connect you with Becker. Becker also has helped us over the years come up with solutions for people in unique situations.
Yeah, they were even on a previous podcast.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't heard that, go back, check it out. Had those guys on, oh gosh, in the beginning.
Yeah, very beginning.
I think it was episode 7.
I was going to say 9,
Yeah.
but
Cool.
It was one of
Close.
those-
close. It's somewhere around 7 to 9.
think the price is right. Recycle. I'll take $1, Bob.
I like the mountain climber guy.
That was the best.
The yodeler.
game.
How about like Plinko?
I like Plinko too.
Plinko. Is it Plinko?
No, it's
Plinko.
Yeah,
Plinko.
Yodel.
That guy.
Climbs the hill. Yeah.
And then he falls off the
He
end
falls off.
every time.
You guessed too much on the Tide, Brandon. Sorry.
Sorry, the Tide Pods were not that much.
Ooh, I wanna
Tasted
watch
delicious though. Yeah, but vacuum. What gives? Vacuum can be. You guys okay both here?
No,
That one got you, didn't it?
Yeah, you threw a zinger.
that one got you there, didn't
Tide
it?
Pods, like, come on.
Oh man, but anyways, back to vacuum.
that. Who gives?
No, what gives?
Oh,
Hopefully not your vacuum or your hold down.
Hopefully not. It can be used a few different ways. For one, I mean, one is nested. That's the most popular way we see vacuum being used in today's world.
Oh,
is
it's
nested
a great
manufacturing.
advantage, yeah.
Yep. You use a spoil board. Generally, to kind of explain it for most people, you'll have your tabletop on your machine.
Yep.
Then you take another piece of material, sacrificial material. Some people call it spoil board, sacrificial board, whatever you want to call it. But generally, and I shouldn't say generally, the rule of thumb is you always want to use the cheapest MDF you can find.
Yeah.
You do not want to use the high quality stuff. You don't want to use particle board. You don't want to use anything else. You want to use MDF.
Yep.
And you want it to be the cheap stuff because there's less glue in it.
Right.
Some people will use LDF. You got to be careful with LDF though, because LDF breathes its light density. It breathes a lot of air. So in some applications, it actually is too much loss of air.
You might lose air through pores.
Yeah, so you end up with less vacuum hold down. Even though you're
suffers.
moving more air. Yeah. So you got to be careful. There's certain applications where you got to think about it. But what you do with that spoil board is then you put a piece of, let's just say 4x8 machine, right?
Yeah.
Put a 4x8 sheet up there, and then you're going to skim cut the top and then flip it and skim cut the bottom. And when you do that, you're taking off the dead cells, essentially. The dead, pores on it, the dense stuff that got, kind of compacted down from being, sitting.
Yeah, packing it down, sealing it.
So you cut it open. It basically opens the pores back up. People don't believe me until they see it with their own eyes a lot of times, but air will naturally flow through the pores of MDF.
Yeah, people think it's magic.
It is. It looks like magic. I lost $100 on this one time.
You don't have to clamp down your spoil board?
Yeah.
You don't have to screw it to the table?
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, I lost $100 on this one time. True story. My brother was like, "This is how vacuum works." When I first started doing this, and I'm like, "No, that's not how it works."
Yeah, right.
You're a liar. You also told me to eat those Tide Pods. But the reality is, it works because he puts it up there and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna turn the vacuum pump on, try to move it." I'm like, "Easy." Turns it on. I'm like, "Hey, jeez, nope, not moving that." So I'm like, "Let me get a friend. I'm gonna phone a friend." So I grab Ben. I'm like, "Ben, help
Ben's
me move
a big
this."
boy.
Yeah, and Ben's like, "It's not gonna move." I'm like, "Ben, don't say never. Let's try this." It's got $100 on the line. Don't say never. We both pushed on it. No, it didn't move. All right, and here's your $100. Thank you for your time.
You taught me something.
You taught me
Appreciate
something.
it.
Yeah, so no, the swale board literally will get held down by air. And yeah, like I said, it works extremely well, but that's the nested manufacturer side of it. Because then when you take, let's say you put that spoil board up there, now you put your melamine on top of it, right?
Yeah.
Or you put your aluminum or Baltic birch or whatever you're cutting on top of it. It will literally sandwich it all together. And so when you cut through your top board, say your Baltic birch, right? You're cutting cabinets out. You cut your drawer fronts. Well, you're cutting into that second piece, just barely. You're just barely through cutting.
Skimming it.
Yeah, you're skim cutting it. And so it keeps you from damaging your tabletop.
Yep.
It also keeps you from damaging your bit. Now all your parts are cut out. Shut the vacuum off. You can take all the parts off, and now you can put the next sheet up there, and you can keep going. And eventually, when that spoil board gets enough grooves and cuts in it, you're going to skim cut it again. And so you just keep skim cutting it until you get down to under a 1/4 inch, and then a lot of times people will throw away. Some people take them down to an 1/8 inch, and then you throw away your spoil board at that time and start over. But now you're not replacing your tabletop all the time.
That's most important, I would say. For
Super
sure.
awesome, right?
Like, who wants to replace your tabletop?
Yeah, not fun.
No.
Nobody got time for that.
Not at all.
Nobody's got time for that. It's like bronchitis.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Vacuum can also be done through fixtures, though. So, when you're using fixtures, a lot of people are using like what we call as pods. They're a vacuum pod.
Not the ones you eat.
No, not like the Tide ones,
Gotcha.
but the actual
Vacuum pods.
Yeah, the
Track
vacuum
it.
pods. And then you have the part fixtures with a gasket. That's the other option. So you can build a fixture on your tabletop.
Yeah.
Using a piece of. I've used in the past like melamine because melamine doesn't breathe air at all. So I'll use melamine, then cut some holes in it so air can flow through the middle of it, and then you put gasket. You cut a basically a false outline of your part,
Yeah.
a negative of your part essentially, then put gasket in there, and that way when you like make a guitar neck, for example, you can create these fixtures that hold these parts in place so they don't move around on you.
Creates a nice seal.
Yeah, because ultimately the vacuum's only as good as the air that's getting to the parts. So if you're leaking air everywhere, you're not going to create a seal.
Right, you have movement.
Yep. So that's where, like, when you get to odd shaped parts and weird things, furniture parts, things like that, a lot of times guys will use vacuum fixtures. That's how they hold these parts down.
Look at that shape. That's a weird one.
Yeah, it works well. Like we've done it here many times. Works really well.
Oh yeah, we've got lots of videos on our YouTube channel. We got lots of videos up on our website that actually show a lot of that stuff off. So yeah, definitely check it out. But that's kind of how that fixture system would work. Now, again, when you go to that spoil board, the advantage of the spoil board is it's less setup. It's called a single setup, is what it's called. And you throw that spoil board up there, and you can cut multiple sheets in a row without having to change gaskets and do things like that. That's why people like that spoil board method. It works really, really well. Now, when it comes to vacuum, there's a couple different options here. You have what I call the trash can scenario, right?
Yeah.
So the easiest way to understand vacuum, regenerative blower versus vane root style system, right? Vacuums are basically technologies, all they are. There's
Right.
different technology for different applications. And a regenerative blower is like trying to take a large trash can and pulling air through it, right? You need a
Right.
lot of volume
You would?
to create, but when you stick a pencil hole in the side of the trash can, you still have a lot of volume, so that pencil hole isn't going to leak enough air to stop air movement from coming down through that trash can, right? Now, with a vane root style system, it's like taking a McDonald's straw. It doesn't take as much suction on the end of the straw to create suction at the other end. But we've all been in a situation where you get a hole in the side of your McDonald's straw,
Right.
and then you can't get any pop, right?
So annoying.
That's got to be one of the worst things.
Oh,
Yeah. So
Angry.
But that's the same scenario. Is you have lower CFM, so you don't have as much to lose. So when you get that hole, now you end up with loss of suction.
gotcha.
But you have high pressure at the end of that straw. So you can concentrate your hold down on a lot smaller pieces.
Yeah.
With a trash can, you're not going to be able to do that as easy.
No, you're not.
So that's the difference between the vane root style pumps and regenerative blower systems. They all have their benefits in certain applications.
I like how you put that. That's the first time I've heard you explain it that way.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll help somebody out there as they're trying to figure out what's best for their application. Now, again, regenerative blowers generally are going to be noisy.
Yeah, they are.
They're really, really loud. I'm not going
Yeah.
to deny it.
Yeah.
They're generally going to put off a lot of heat.
That's true, too. You can
Usually-
almost warm your shop with one of those.
Most people can, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, here in Minnesota, there's a lot of people that do use reversible blast gates that they literally bring the air into their shop in the winter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 100 degrees above ambient air temperature.
Oof.
So if it's 80 degrees outside or in your shop, it's pushing 180 degree air.
That's warm.
Doesn't take long before you start sweating.
Right.
Vane root style pumps, very quiet.
Much quieter, for sure.
I mean, you can literally hold a conversation next to them.
You can. We've
And-
proved it. Like,
yeah,
go
proved
down to
it.
the shop. I'll turn the backer on the
Yep.
phone. Be like, listen, we
Yep.
can have a conversation.
Exactly. Now, the difference with that, though, is you're going to have a little bit more cost associated with a vane root style system.
Yeah, you're paying for
Higher
more
technology. Yeah, exactly. The advantage to a vane root style system, though, is that higher pressure rating.
Right.
So, again, regenerative blowers, high CFM, vane root systems, high pressure.
High pressure.
You can multiply the pressure or the CFM by multiplying the pumps. You cannot multiply the pressure. So, regenerative blowers, adding more regenerative blowers doesn't change a thing for you.
Correct.
It just adds CFM.
More CFM and
And-
more noise.
Generally speaking, regenerative blowers are not lacking on CFM.
Imagine running two of those in your shop at the same time.
That'd be loud. So, commonly, misrepresented things that I see in the industry, honestly, is the liquid maintenance and holding power topics. A lot of people think that holding power isn't as critical as it is. Guys will sell these smaller pumps to get by. It's like the number one trick I see in the industry is people selling a pump to get by.
Yep.
Oh, this is a cheap pump, it'll get them into something, and I can show them I gave them a vacuum pump. The problem is they know that you're coming back and buying another pump or a different pump in 6 months.
It makes me angry.
Yeah.
Because you get that guy who had that pump, right? He had that underperforming pump.
Yep.
And now I get on the phone with him.
Yep.
Sure, you interested in vacuum? No, I'm not. I have a vacuum pump on my machine. I hate it. It's garbage. Now I have to overcome that because someone sold you the wrong pump. Because
Correct.
vacuum, the right setup, works really well, right? You shouldn't struggle. You shouldn't fight it. It should work really well for you.
Yeah.
So that's the downside of it, right? Is that guy that had the wrong side of things or the wrong option. Now we have to overcome that because you had a
It puts
bad
a sour
experience.
taste in your mouth.
Yeah,
you know?
you had a bad experience.
Yeah, exactly. And
Because vacuum should work really well.
yeah, and you hear these guys that are like, oh, liquid ring pumps, right?
Yeah.
When's the last time that you ever put liquid and sawdust together?
Last week,
Yeah.
I was doing a science experiment out in the garage with the kids. Showed them you don't want to mix this stuff
Yeah.
together.
I mean, exactly. You learned that in what? Grade school.
Yeah, they're in elementary school.
Yeah, that you shouldn't put liquid and, wood together.
Yeah.
Dust is not a good thing for liquid. So,
No.
that's the one thing that vacuum pumps in a woodworking shop or a dusty environment should never be a liquid or oil ring pump.
No, it's a bad idea.
You're going to create sludge.
You are. More work for yourself as well.
The pump's going to have failures down the road.
It's no good situation.
Nope. And then you have other things that are, with, claw style pumps, right? Those exist out there as well. Again, claw style pumps were not designed for woodworking environments. They're a tight tolerance pump. You get any dust or debris in that claw, and it's going to cause that pump to fail.
Yeah. That sounds terrible. I
Yeah.
don't want to be down because of my vacuum pump.
There's some videos that I've seen Becker do showing this, and they've had dust ingested in one of their pumps versus a claw style pump, and you can watch the claw style pump literally burn down in a matter of minutes.
I love watching stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's like it really is real life scenarios where
Yeah.
dust can get into these things. That's where I start looking at holding power and things like that, and you don't gain enough to make it worth your while. It's the only reason people are doing it is because they're getting a better deal on something, But the reality is the right pumps will last you a lot longer and actually be a better value long term.
Oh, no doubt.
Buying the right tool is much more important than just trying to buy a tool, right?
Right. This will get me by.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing you hear a lot about is maintenance. People are like, oh, those regenerative blowers are lower maintenance than the vane root style pumps. And that's not entirely true. The vane root style pumps are so efficient nowadays that there's very little maintenance other than cleaning a filter with them.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna replace vanes and roots, down the road,
As needed.
but you're gonna get so much use out of the pump before that time period comes that it's not even gonna matter. And it's no different than a regenerative blower. Regenerative blower, you still have the filters that you got to clean out.
Yep.
But you have to think about regenerative blowers. The failure rate on a regenerative blower is much higher because of the temperatures they're running at.
They run hotter.
Yeah, a lot hotter. And if you get them clogged up at all, it doesn't take long before they burn down on you.
Yeah. I like the idea of the Becker.
Yep.
Quieter, right? I like that.
Yep.
I don't want to listen to a loud pump all day.
No, I agree 100% with that. I don't like the noise in my shop. I don't want to deal with the headaches. I don't like the heat.
No.
I don't like to deal with any of that stuff.
I do like it warm, but maybe not that warm.
Maybe not that
Maybe
warm.
not that warm.
Yeah, maybe
Right?
not devil's spit warm.
Yeah. I have forgotten winter by about July, so
Yeah.
let's try to keep it.
Yeah. No, exactly. You don't want to deal with all of that. So that's just some things to think about. Now, let's talk about the way ShopSabre does things.
Yeah.
Because obviously, well, that's who we are and that's who we talk about sometimes.
Very true. We do things a little differently around here.
Yeah. So we talked about vacuum hold down. And a lot of guys talk about vacuum tables, and you'll see a different type of vacuum table on different machines depending on who you're looking at. But one thing you'll see uniquely on ShopSabre is what we call our high flow vacuum option.
Yeah.
A lot of machines traditionally over the years have used Garrett looks lost right now.
I saw that.
Just absolutely
You
lost.
caught
right
that?
now. Yeah, I saw
It
that.
threw me off for a second. What was that?
Yeah, he's just like, wait, what?
Looked like he caught Bell's palsy in the
Yeah.
middle of a yawn.
He's just over there like, I don't know, man. Are you in the same conversation as we are?
I'm listening.
Okay.
I saw that. Like he was stuck. Like
Yeah, he was just looking at me like, what is happening right
he
now?
just got to pause.
I guess
Yeah.
you guys haven't seen a yawn before.
No, that was not a yawn.
Not a stuck one.
No.
Just keep going.
I'm going to keep going. But the high flow vacuum system that we designed is the difference being when you look at hold down, you have to have that spoil board, right?
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to, but you should. The spoil board, when you look at the high flow system, you don't have to gasket that spoil board down.
That's convenient.
In most cases with a ShopSabre, because of the high flow technology, your vacuum table is level enough between planing the spoil board and the tabletop that you don't have to run a gasket system.
That's big time savings.
Yeah. Where a lot of these other machines, especially using older technology and these universal vacuum tables is what people call them, they have these vacuum grids that aren't necessarily flat.
I've seen them.
Yeah. So now you have to overcome this irregular table
Yep.
with gasket to
Yeah.
make up the gap or the difference, because otherwise you're going to have air leaking everywhere.
A lot of air leaking.
Yeah. The other thing you can run into is the difference of airflow underneath your spoil board. With the high flow system by ShopSabre, we have a uniquely designed vacuum grid, and it allows, through specific design by our engineering team, higher flow by about 50% across the surface of the table.
That's a lot of extra flow.
Yeah, where a lot of other companies out there, they're still using the traditional block style, where if you could get down to the tabletop level, right?
Yeah.
So lay your face down on the table and look in there, right? Yep.
Peek.
Yeah, and you'll see that it's a square channel, right?
Yeah.
So they usually use a square tipped tool. That's how they cut it. They're generally using an end mill, and the downfall of that is a square has corners.
It does.
So now take your spoil board and lay it across the top of it. You've created a box.
You have.
Yeah. Does air flow through a box very easy?
No, it doesn't.
So as air moves, it's very turbulent because there's corners, and every time air hits a corner, it swirls and it turns, and it obviously affects the way air moves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Therefore, restricting it, slowing it down, causing hold down concerns. Yeah, resistance. Now you look at we've all seen those semi trucks going down the road that have on the back of it they have the little point coming off it. They have those little wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, for air resistance. Obviously, they do it so air moves around the truck easier than that square back.
Yep.
It's for increased airflow. It's the same thing that you can do with a vacuum system. You can change that design and increase your airflow. And it's something we've done. Our engineering team has spent a lot of time doing that. And that's one of the benefits to our system is that you don't have to run gaskets and you end up with high flow. You also will find with our system, we don't use any rubber hoses underneath the table. A lot of machines are using that. So the problem with rubber is it works great when it's new, but over time from all that pressure, it's going to break down.
Yeah, they get weak.
Yeah, and then they start collapsing and then they start sucking closed on themselves and then restricting airflow.
Right. It's like sucking through a straw with your finger on the end.
Correct.
Try that.
Yep.
You collapse the straw.
Yep, exactly. So that's the stuff you have to start thinking about is that how is the table designed? What can you do to improve that? Well, that's really the difference between ShopSabre and some of these other brands. You end up with these little things, these little nuances that you don't even think about, right?
Right.
That are underneath the table, hidden behind the panels that you never look at that make a huge difference in performance.
Yep.
And then we talk about the pump, the pump options. We have multiple pump options.
Yeah, we got a lot of different pumps.
Let's start naming them. We got the F1.
F4.
We got the FPZ 20 horsepower.
25 horsepower.
We got the Becker 8.9.
12 horsepower Becker.
17.7 Becker.
Yep. And then we got the stack.
Yeah, the duplex
stack.
So you start looking at all of them. I mean, you have a lot of different options. Why do we sell so many vacuum pumps?
Because not every pump is going to fit your situation. Your situation might require a different pump.
Yep.
If you have a bigger table, you're going to require a different pump.
Correct.
Versus a smaller table, right?
Yep. There is a thing called the correct pump.
Yeah.
And the rule of thumb is 5.5 CFM for every square foot of vacuum table you have.
There's a quick way to figure it out.
Yep.
Math.
Right? Damn that math.
Takes all the guessing out of it. How big is my table? What's my area? This is the pump I need.
Damn you, science.
Damn you, science.
But, you start looking at the most common needs. Where does vacuum really benefit a lot of people? Well, the sign industries, for one.
Huge. Cabinet.
Cabinetry industry is a no-brainer. I would never even attempt cabinetry without a vacuum table because it's just a waste of time.
Yep.
Closets.
Yeah, it's a big one too.
Right?
Yeah.
Drawer fronts, doors, all of that stuff, right?
You can keep going.
Well, I can keep going.
Yeah.
Aluminum, huge.
Plastics.
Holding aluminum and plastic with a vacuum is key because your edge quality will significantly improve.
Oh, huge.
Significantly.
Yeah.
Now talk about where vacuum is hard to use.
Misshaped things, right? Things that aren't flat, don't have a lot of flat surface area.
Like furniture, right?
Yep.
I mean, if you're making table legs, things like that, it's probably not the best application for it unless
Right.
you're using a fixture.
Right.
Open cell foams where air just flows through it anyways.
Yeah, you're going to struggle there
Yep.
a little.
Live edge,
Yep.
really hard to get a hold of live edge with it.
Yeah.
So there are applications where vacuum isn't maybe your friend, or you have to come up with a new plan. But, those are kind of just the quick rundown of that. Hopefully today in this episode you guys learned a little bit about vacuum. Hopefully today you learned something.
Right. Take something
that helped
from
you.
this.
Yeah, it helps you make a decision on something. Maybe you got a table and you're sitting there listening to this and you go, I now know why I have a problem.
Yeah.
I'm going to go take this particle board off the machine. Yeah,
Yep. Or look at your pump. Maybe
Yeah.
you have the wrong pump.
Yep. Vacuum pumps can make a huge difference, but sometimes it's just the setup.
Yeah.
Maybe you have the wrong spoil board on the machine.
Seen that. Jesse, I can't pull air through my spoil board. What's going on?
Yeah.
What are you using? I don't know, like super refined MDF, I think. Well, that's why.
Yeah, I use the same stuff I use to make my doors out of it.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't breathe there very well.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful on that stuff. You really do. You got to think about some of that stuff. And, that's where buying from companies like ourselves makes a difference because you have support. You have people who understand the process, not just a sales guy trying to sell you something.
Yep.
There's a lot of people out there that just sell you a cookie cutter machine and they really don't care what you buy as long as you buy something so they can, make their commission check.
Oh, it's so important. Like selling the right option is so important in this situation. If I don't sell you the right pump, we don't go through this option, you don't get the right thing, you're going to call a lot more than what you thought you were going to. And you're going to be angry when you call.
Yep.
I can't hold my parts down. My vacuum's not working.
Yep.
Well, you didn't get the right pump.
In reality, a lot of the companies selling you the wrong pump are also not going to support their machine very well.
That's very true.
Because they're probably not going to sell you the wrong pump if they care about their support.
That's very true. I care about those support guys. Like, I don't want them answering 1,000 vacuum questions.
And that's why we ask so many questions. I mean, sometimes we'll ask people, like, what are you cutting? How many sheets are you cutting? What type of material?
Yeah.
That's why we ask that stuff. Because we want to learn, because we don't want to recommend the wrong pump.
Well, I just ask because I like asking questions.
Wrong. No more questions.
Yeah, I just have nothing better to do, so I figured why not ask a bunch of useless questions, right?
Exactly.
No, I assure you, everything we ask is for a purpose. We want to learn as much as we can. Now, that being said, vacuum power is also something to think about. You'll want to check with your electricians, find out, do you have 3-phase, single phase? You'll want to let your, salesperson know that up front because we don't know what your building looks like. So if you don't tell us what you have for power, we're going to sell you a solution that may not run in your building then.
Right.
So you need to double check your solution and make sure that you're, very clear on what you have available for power. Most vacuum pumps need 3-phase.
Yeah, please give us as much information as you can, right? I'm not there in your shop. I can't see your panel. I don't know what you're working with.
Yep. The other thing is like I said, most vacuum pumps do require 3-phase.
Yep.
But we have ways to run them on single phase. But we need to think about that ahead of time because it does cost money.
We do.
I don't want you to get surprised with that bill at the end.
Yeah.
So
that's something we like to be upfront about.
Yep. So make sure that you're conveying as much information as you can. The more information you can provide the salesperson, the better they can do to assist you.
Oh, for sure. The better I can service you, the more I know.
Yep. So, obviously don't cut corners to save a buck. That's one thing I always say to people. Vacuum can make a huge difference.
Huge difference.
I mean, it's something that will cost you money in the long run. If you do it wrong, it will cost you money.
For sure. You do it right, it'll save you a bunch of time.
Yep. You want to find the right solution for the job, right?
Yep.
So, hey, Garrett.
ShopSabre.com.
Okay, there we go. That didn't take long.
So you just woke up, you were dreaming about it?
Sleeping. Oh, ShopSabre.com. Good job.
ShopSabre.com.
It's a favorite place
Appreciate
to be.
that. I think we'll have some videos posted this week on some cutting stuff that we're doing. I know we're going to have that slab video that we did with Sean. That's coming up. I know we have a cool door video coming very soon. I know that's in final stages.
Very soon.
So that'll be very cool. We got another video that we'll do. We have some videos on vacuum already that we may repost. Maybe we'll post one of the videos we've done on creating a spoil board or something like that, just so people can see some of this. But we have a cool contest coming up, right, Garrett? You're finalizing it right now?
We do.
We talked about that those NASCAR tickets, right?
And they're coming.
They're coming. So stay tuned. Garrett will be posting some stuff on how to win your NASCAR Infinity Series Pit Pass.
That's pretty sweet.
Pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
Pretty cool.
Just for having a ShopSabre and showing what you do.
Just for owning the ShopSabre and showing what you do, you get a chance to win Xfinity Series tickets.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. I mean, like, you're down in the pits.
Yeah.
Like,
in the garage.
Yeah, in the garage where the cool stuff happens.
Like, because of ShopSabre. Here you go. Go have a great time.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
You think maybe I can win them?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. Do you really need to win them? Like, aren't you friends with all those guys? Don't you guys hang out on the weekends and stuff?
No.
They're all race car drivers, like,
no,
part
that's
of
not how
a
it
group?
works at all.
No?
No.
Oh. That explains a lot.
Yeah, no.
I go work with you in the pits, and I'm, like, waiting to see Dale Earnhardt Jr., and he's not there.
I know he's not there.
I thought you guys were better pals than that.
Sorry. Literally never talked to
You
him.
are friends with one race car driver, aren't you? Kenny?
Ken Schrader
Yeah.
and Kenny Wallace. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
But, nevertheless, I want to go to the pits. So, can I win, Garrett?
We'll see.
You can try.
I might pick myself to win.
You can't win, Garrett.
Who
I'm the one
determined
putting
who
the
wins?
contest.
Is it like a panel of us three?
We'll see.
There's
There's going to be some rules here. You'll have to stay tuned for that.
Oh, boy.
Whoever can eat the most cookie dough in 6 minutes.
Oh. It doesn't. I can't even think about that right now, I'll be honest with you. It doesn't sound good. Not
Look
at
at
all.
you. You just
Not
look
at all.
like you should be laying at home.
But I'm here, sir, supporting our team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of that. I'm going to end up sick tomorrow.
You can't. Antibiotics, sir. 24 hours.
I'm on antibiotics. No backsies.
You said, well, You can go back to work. You just got to have the antibiotics for 24 hours. Well, got anything here you can shoot me with to get a jump start on this? Well,
Jesus.
yeah. We'll take a shot of penicillin and then we'll go get the
Jeez.
antibiotics. I wanted to come back, boys. Missed you guys.
Oh,
I don't like sitting at home.
Yeah, that's true. Sitting at home is not fun.
No.
But you know what? We need to get back to work because you missed yesterday.
Yeah, I have to go get caught up.
Yeah, let's
I
do
got some
this.
stuff to do.
All right. I'm Brandon.
I'm Jesse.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.